Hey, it's Meggie Kay. So, I have moved again. If you have been following along, you would have possibly noticed that the last video I posted was a Jasper in winter travel video in June. So let's explain how that ended up happening. I was living in Lake Louise and did a little weekend trip up to Jasper. And the whole reason I was living in Lake Louise in the first place is because I wasn't having a whole lot of luck getting a job related to what I studied after graduation. So I went back to Lake Louise to work at the hostel I was working at before I went to grad school and just kind of like spend the winter out there, look for a job related to my field. And yeah, there's a whole video of me explaining why I went out to Lake Louise and why it was like a good thing for me at the time. So if you want all the details, you can watch that one. Anyways, back to the end of February, which is when I actually went to Jasper. I had returned home to Lake Louise, and I think it was maybe a day or two after getting home from that trip that I came across a job posting and I applied for the job. And they contacted me for an interview. I went through the whole process and they offered me the job. Now, the thing about living in Lake Louise is that it is within a national park, and to live in a national park, you need to be working inside the national park. So, yeah, I had to move because the job was not in Banff National Park. So, where did I move to? Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yes, I have traded the mountains for the ocean. If you follow me on Instagram, this isn't a surprise. I have been an East Coast girl since April. It also meant that I moved across the country 3 times within 6 months, which might be a record for me. Moving out here, like every time I have moved across the country or even moved abroad, it was a very chaotic process for me. You would think I would have a good system in place where I can move my life so frequently without it being a last minute panic, but I procrastinate. And packing always takes so much longer than I anticipate. Whatever. But yeah, I had about 3 weeks, a little under 3 weeks, to book my flights, pack all my things. I needed to stop by Ontario to pick up my non-winter stuff because this was April. I was moving to Halifax, springtime. I don't need heavy Rocky Mountain winter gear with me. Also, a little side note right now, a little tangent about winter things. I made that whole pack with me video when I first moved out to Lake Louise and I was packing all my winter stuff. After I'd finished that video, I needed to weigh and repack 3 times because my suitcase was so heavy. And I realized this was the first time in my life I had moved and packed all of my things into a suitcase or a backpack in winter. Winter stuff is so heavy. So the suitcase ended up only being maybe 2/3 full because things were so heavy, but it was exactly 23 kilograms. And I have to say, that is my special skill. I'm pretty good at making sure my suitcases are exactly on the weight limit ever since I moved back from Japan. Every suitcase I've ever taken on a plane has always been exactly 23 kilograms. I feel like that's a thing to brag about. getting back to the actual moving to Halifax part, I was lucky enough to find an apartment online that I could move into right away. So I didn't have like this weird, awkward, temporary housing thing. I got straight into my apartment right from the airport. However, it's not furnished. So basically, I arrived, got my keys, all of that stuff, and I went to Walmart to buy an air mattress so I could sleep that night. So even though I was in my apartment, it wasn't really mine yet. It didn't feel comfortable yet because I didn't have furniture. So it took me a while to actually like get all of the things and feel settled. Like probably took like a month and a half or 2 months for me to feel okay in my space, which is why it took me so long to edit that Jasper video and get it up. But now that I finally do feel settled, I feel like I can get back into editing and posting videos, even though this one is also going to be like spaced out from that because I had to go back to Ontario for my brother's wedding and it kind of threw off the routine I was getting into. And now that I finally do feel settled, I feel like I can get back into doing the things I love, like making videos and traveling. And I need to explore Halifax and Nova Scotia because I'd never been here before. I've never been east of Quebec. So this is a whole new territory, a whole new region of Canada for me. And I'm excited to travel around a bit, even though the issues with traveling Canada. I made a whole video about annoying things traveling Canada. I don't have a car, so I might be a little limited. I will have to look at renting a car for pretty much anything outside of the city. But I am liking Halifax so far, and I can get to most places within the city, so there's definitely still things for me to do. The bus system is decent by Canadian standards. So I feel like I can get to most parts of the city without a car, which is good enough for now. I also feel like this is just really good timing. Like everything's finally settled. It's the beginning of July. Like I'm having a mid-year reset kind of thing. So I'm feeling good. I can go out and explore. I'm hoping to get into like a really good routine so I can keep up with the videos and post consistently. And yeah, I'm also just like in a good mood in general. Like I want to launch a website and I'm working on my health. Not that I will make videos about those probably, but like overall, very positive. So yeah, I think that is everything I wanted to say in this video. If you have any tips or recommendations for things to do around Halifax or Nova Scotia, or really any of the maritime provinces, let me know in the comments. I'm basically just compiling a big list at this point, and I will see what I'm able to get to. My work contract is only for 1 year, and I don't know what will happen after that. So yeah, over the next year-ish, I'll just like go through the list, see what's possible for me to get to, and be happy with that. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I'll be back with another one soon. Bye.